Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Jahan Dotson's media availability. As we have always done, if you would please just raise your hand in the chat function. That's how we will handle this, and I will call on you and ask you to unmute, and then we will go from there with everyone's questions. We're going to start off with Nick Fierro.
Are we ready? Ready
Yeah,
here? Or?
yeah, Nick, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, hi, Jahan. I want to ask about your goals from the leadership point this year with the experience that you bring. 3 years, third year into the program, what you can do to help everybody else out.
I think what I can do is just come in every day to practice and just put my head down and going to work. Just coming out every day, lead it. I'm not really much of a vocal leader. I kind of just try to lead by example so that young guys see what I'm doing and hopefully they just follow in my footsteps. So hopefully I can just lead by example and practice every day, and then it just plans out to the games.
Rich Garcella. Go ahead, Rich. Rich, I think you're still muted.
Jahan, what does the passing game have to do better in order to beat Ohio State? And what do you think you have to do better?
Just getting open and being the biggest target for our quarterback. That's just the biggest key to me. I feel like the more we're open, the more he's gonna be able to trust to throw the ball to us, and the more it all starts with practice. Honestly, the more we make plays in practice, the more he's gonna feel comfortable throwing the ball to us in those little tight windows and those little situations, maybe that appear in the game. So I feel like we just gotta get that chemistry down in practice, and then pretty much it'll all pan out.
Greg Pickle.
Hey, Jahan, how you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Hey, this kind of following on Rich's question, Coach Franklin and Sean Clifford talked about the offense needing to be more explosive and have more explosive plays. How can you guys go about doing that on Saturday compared to what you did at Indiana?
Yeah, so Indiana, they did a pretty good job of keeping us under our explosive goal that we have for the week, and that was just totally on our part. We got to get open. That's as simple as that. We just have to get open. We got to make plays when the ball's in our hands, and yeah, just be guys. We got recruited to Penn State because we were guys in high school, so we got to prove that every single day that we step on the field and just be dudes.
Tyler Donahue.
Jahan, this was your first chance to go over Penn State game film that you guys produced with Kirk Shiraka. What was that experience like? And also with Coach Stubblefield, how was the evaluation process on Sunday and going into a new practice week?
Just a lot of learning. First week of the season, always some mistakes you're going to make, always some things you're going to do good, but just a lot of learning from your little mistakes that you make, whether it's not getting your depth on the route or getting your hands inside in the block game. So pretty much just working on those little things, we've been focusing on little details this week, just making sure that all those little details are correct and everything will just figure itself out.
Hey,
John, appreciate the time this morning. For a guy like Parker Washington being a true freshman and then, having his first career touchdown in that, pivotal moment in overtime, what does that kind of say about his composure and kind of the way he carries himself, even though he's the first-year player?
Yeah. Parker came up big for us in OT with the big touchdown catch. You could see a lot of guys that could go either two ways. He didn't really have that many catches in the beginning of the game, and you could see guys get down about themselves. But that just shows the character of Parker. He came back in OT, battled back, got himself the touchdown, took us to the lead, and you could just see he's very composed as a freshman, and you don't get many freshmen like that.
Otter Snyder.
Morning, Jahan. Thanks for your time. Going off of that with Parker, you guys spoke so highly about him and Keandre this summer. At what point did you notice? I mean, was it in the winter before everything kind of went crazy and everybody went their separate ways that you thought both of these guys were going to be pretty good? What impressed you about both of them?
Just the way they worked. When we first came in, those guys were some of the first guys to get to practice and some of the last guys to leave practice. So it was pretty much, you could tell it was instilled in them that they just want to win. They just want to do anything to get better. And they show that every day. They come out, compete at practice. They compete in the games as you watch the film. You could just tell those guys they're ready for the moment.
Nate Bauer.
John, James mentioned yesterday you guys on the team losing somebody to a false positive before the game on Saturday. I'm just curious from two perspectives. Have you guys kind of mentally prepared for that as a team that somebody or a couple of people might just not be able to play leading into a game? And then have you considered for yourself what that might mean on a game day to find that out?
Yeah, so Coach Franklin has done a great job just preparing us for if someone does get test positive the morning of a game. So he basically we get tested every morning. So we can tell that when someone tests positive, let's say on a Tuesday morning, they won't be at practice. So we got to get through practice without them. That kind of just prepares us for Saturdays so that if anyone happens to go down in the morning, we just pick right back up. It's next man up mentality. And then I feel like I don't know. I feel like if you were to test positive in the morning, I'm talking about myself. Like you really want to know what to do till it hits you. Honestly, it's one of those things where like it doesn't hit you till it hits you. So I just feel like I wouldn't know how to react until it happens.
Tobias Wilborn.
What have you noticed, particularly with Noah Kane? Not with Noah. With Evan Ford this week, as far as his preparations, knowing he's got to be good at pass pro and everything else going into a really big game.
Yeah, he came out. We had one day of practice so far, and he came out and worked like a professional. He came out to practice yesterday with an intent to get better, and that's pretty much what we got to do. He's got to basically take control of the room now, take control of those young guys in the room, and just put them on his back and basically just show them the ropes. He's been here a year, so he knows what it takes. He played a lot last year, so we're looking for him to step up in a big way, and I believe that he can.
Nick Fierro.
Yeah, Jahan, what you were talking earlier about explosive plays. Do you feel that you need to deliver on those, even if the opponents are playing you soft?
Yeah. If the opponents are playing us soft, then we just need to get the ball in our hands quick and make something happen with it. It's all about when you get your opportunity, you got to make the most of it. That's pretty much something that I've been living on ever since I got here. Every time I get an opportunity to get the ball, I want to just take it to the house, basically every single time, no matter if it's a screen, a deep ball, whatever it is. You just got to make the most of your opportunities.
Hayes.
Hey, Jahan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Yeah, you said earlier that you're not really much of a vocal leader. Just wanted to kind of ask you to go through coaching up Parker and Keandre during that first game, being it was their first taste of college action. During the game, were you speaking to them in the huddle on the sidelines? And if so, like, what are some things you're telling them? What was it like for you on the field with them, just in terms of interacting and coaching them up?
Yeah, so I get to them a little bit on the sideline when you're in the game because you kind of just your adrenaline's just rushing. You're just so into it. So I get to talking to them on the sideline a little bit, just telling them just stay posed. Like the time's gonna come. You're gonna get that big play. Just be ready for it when it comes. You just gotta. You don't know when it's gonna come. It could be first down in the first quarter, fourth down in the fourth quarter. You don't know. So just be ready for your moment and make the most of it. That's pretty much what I was telling almost every receiver on the sideline.
Tyler Donahue.
Jahan, you came to campus with Pat Fryermuth a few summers ago, and 27 games later, he's the all-time record holder at tight end for touchdowns. What has really stood out about Pat's process over the course of your time together here, and kind of a mark do you think he leaves in the Penn State culture, not just right immediately when he leaves, but long-term at that tight end spot?
Yeah. Pat started, I think, in my opinion, Pat started this revolution tight end youth. So he's just a huge weapon to have for us. Once again, he comes to practice every day and just works. He works like no one else. You'll see him in the building 2 hours before practice, just getting his body ready. He works like a professional, and you can't really, you can teach that, but it's a choice thing at the end of the day. And he makes those sacrifices to be a professional every day, and he comes out to work. And it's just amazing to have someone like that on your team you can look up to and you can follow in their footsteps. We got a lot of young guys, so those young guys are following his footsteps. They're making big plays in practice, and he's leaving his mark not only for himself but just the generations after.
Rich Scarcella.
Jahan, Ohio State has had a history of strong play in the secondary. What sets their D-backs apart from others that you face?
They're good athletes. They were recruited to Ohio State. We all played Division I football, so I don't know. You just watch the film and you gotta find your weaknesses in their play, and you just gotta exploit them. So we're gonna get in the film room, find out what we can do to attack them, and we're just gonna go at it.
Greg Pickle.
Jahan, was there any additional, I don't know if stresses or anxiety is the right word, but that Sunday test after the Indiana game, did that one feel any different than previous ones, just based on the fact that for the first time you were out of the quote unquote bubble in state college and had seen some people you hadn't seen before, played against obviously another team? Was that any different than the past ones or not really?
It felt different at the beginning when we first got to Indiana. It felt a little different because I honestly haven't been anywhere but state college in the past like 4 or 5 months. So that was pretty. It was kind of weird, but then it just felt normal again. It just felt like the season was here. We were ready to play a game, take on an opponent, and just ready to fight with my brother. So it got back to normal real quick.
Audrey Snyder.
Jahan, I know Devin Ford's always kind of been described as like a happy-go-lucky guy, a lot like Journey in that regard, personality-wise. How has he been since Saturday? I mean, obviously, him not going down was one of about a million things that you guys could have gone differently, could have done better. What's his demeanor been like in practices, and how much of a focal point is it for you guys to make sure he's in the right headspace heading into Saturday?
Well, he's done a good job of that himself. He's been himself. That's all you can ask for. You ask for someone to be themselves. You don't ask for them to do anything bigger than what they have to do. You just ask for them to do their role. And I feel like he's done that so far. He's brought that life to practice. He brings joy, always dancing and stuff like that. So just, yeah, that's him. He's just himself. And honestly, that's all we can ask for.
Nick Fierro.
John, can you just describe what it was like for you, the whole process in this off season? Learning that the Big Ten wasn't going to have football, and then them coming back with the announcement that it was going to be on, and what you were doing to prepare or to go prepare to play to go without football.
Yeah, so we came back ready for a season, and pretty much we were full go. We were ready as a whole team. We looked good. And then, boom, it just hits us out of nowhere that we're not playing. And you kind of just get sent back home, figure out what you're going to do. And I just had a plan right away, and that was just to stay at work. I went and worked out with one of my fellow buddies in Allentown, my man Tyler at Matrix, and we just hit the ground running. We never looked back as if there was a season still coming up. So I've been working ever since. I don't even know. I can't even think of the date when I started. I've just been working, and we luckily they said a couple of weeks later that we come back and get a season, and so it was just was just a joy, just knowing that I'm still ready for the moment. I'm still ready to take on the season.
Mark Wogan, Rich.
Hey, Jahan, what song or sound do you want to hear Saturday night that'll make you think, yeah, this is a whiteout?
Ooh. The victory bell. That's all I want to hear. At the end of the day, I want to get the dub, get our season started, get back on the win track, and just hear that victory bell at the end, and then celebrate with my guys in the locker room. That's one of the biggest things about winning. We get to all just come together at the end of the day, and just know that we all put in the work during the week, and it all paid off, and we got the W on Saturday. So that's pretty much what I want to hear.
Mark Brennan. Mark. Okay, we'll move on to Tyler Donahue.
Jahan, you've been asked about Devin a couple times. If I could go into the other running backs that are going to play a bigger role for you with Keziah Holmes and Kevon Lee. We've seen very little of them. You've seen a few months worth of them. What did they bring to the football field for Penn State, and how are they kind of complementary pieces and what they bring skill set wise and attitude wise?
So I feel like those two, they kind of complement each other. Kevon's more of like a downhill power back, and Keziah can make almost anyone miss in open field. So I feel like them two, that's like a perfect tandem to have, because when you need one, the other one's going to give you a big play. So I've seen a lot of those guys. They've impressed me a lot, and I just can't wait to see what they can do this year.
This will be the last question for Jahan. Allie Berube.
Jahan, when you think about a whiteout game in Beaver Stadium, this is your home stadium. It's obviously going to feel different. How do you prepare for that moment? And have you guys talked about that in practice about not having the energy of 100,000 people in there?
We can't even think about that. It's not a possibility. So we can't think about having the fans there. We're gonna have our parents in support. That's pretty much. I know for me, that's pretty much all I need. Just my parents there, and then I'm just gonna try to bring my own juice, and we're gonna fuel each other when it comes down to it. We know at the end of the day, all we got is each other. So we just got to bring our own juice and just go off that and take on our opponent.
Everyone, thank you for being a part of Jahan Dotson's media availability. You'll now all be sent to the waiting room.